from Africa and to the rest of the world, this is CII Radio. Independent, authentic, and dedicated to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. It is Yoman Jadid right here on CII Radio. But now we're going to go to the lines right now and speak to Mufti Ismail Desai, Islamic finance expert. He is going to be giving us a weekly segment talking to us about Sharia compliant business and the business campaign. Now, the topics of discussion is Islamic manufacturing concept, Istinsa, I think it's called. Istinsna, which Mufti will elaborate further. Islamic Offplan and constructing financing, Islamic business and commercial funding mechanisms. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti. Welcome back to the airwaves of CII this morning.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Happy Sahib, hope you're well.
Jazakallah khair for joining us once again, Mufti. Let's talk about what we are just mentioned. What is Istinsna, I hope that pronounced correctly, and Islamic manufacturing contracts? Could you give us some background information with regards to this?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallim ala rasulihil karim ma ba'd. The term Istisna is an Arabic word which comes from the scale of istif'al. In other words, that the origin of the word Istisna comes from the word sana'a yasna'u, which refers to contracting, manufacturing, etc. So Istisna means a manufacturing contract. From a Sharia perspective, the concept of Istisna refers to a contractual agreement that is executed to procure an asset or a commodity manufactured on order. In other words, the asset or the commodity does not exist currently, but it is executed for that commodity to be manufactured at a later date on order. There are several elements to an Istisna concept, and the first is the Mustasna, or the Istisna requester or orderer, and this refers to the purchaser in an Istisna. Secondly is the Mustasna, or the person from whom the Istisna or the contract of manufacturing has been requested from, and this refers to the supplier or the manufacturer. And in an Istisna, there could be an Istisna. In other words, that a separate Istisna or contract to manufacture is also executed. For example, Zaid purchases an off-plan real estate unit from the Nakhil Real Estate Development Company. And this real estate off-plan unit is sold to Zaid for 100,000 United States dollars. Zaid does not require this real estate unit. Rather, he intends to resell this real estate unit to a friend based in the United States. Zaid then conducts a parallel Istisna or a parallel manufacturing contract with his friend in the United States for $150,000. If both the Istisnas or both the contracts to manufacture are separated and segmented, then it is perfectly permissible and Sharia compliant. There are a few important conditions for a valid Sharia compliant Istisna. The first is that the item of Istisna or the commodity or asset of Istisna should be very clearly specified or fixed. For example, if a real estate unit is sold under a Istisna contract, then it should be very clearly specified. Secondly, is the price should be fixed and unambiguous. It is also permitted under an Istisna contract to pay a deposit. This deposit could be either in the form of a guarantee, or it could either be part of an initial down payment, or what is termed as Hamish Jiddiya. The main difference between Istisna and Salam is that in a Salam contract, an Islamic forward sale, the price is paid upfront, whereas in an Istisna, it is not a requirement for the price to be paid upfront. So therefore, it is permitted to have drawdown payments, as is common in certain real estate off-plan agreements and concepts. Lastly, it is permitted for the purchaser to agree upon a shirkul jaza or In other words, a contract for penalty if the manufacturer delays the delivery of the item of istisna. For example, if the real estate corporation is the development of the real estate unit to Zaid by, let's say, for example, a month, then Zaid can impose the penalty and reduce the contractual payment amount. For example, $100,000, that could be reduced by every 30 days by $10,000. So if the real estate company delays the execution and delivery of the real estate unit, then Zaid, based on a sharatul jaza, can reduce the payment amount also. For further details on istisna, you can visit our website called www.shariahbusiness.com. It is the Sharia Compliant Business Campaign website. And under my book called Your Brief Guide to Islamic Finance, on page 115 to page 134, you can get further details on the istisna concept.
Jazakallah khair, Mufti, for joining us. We have about 2 minutes left. Would you want to continue this maybe next week, or can you talk about very quickly how do we fund over business the Sharia compliant way?
Let's continue with that in brief, and then next week, inshallah, we shall continue with further topics, inshallah.
Right, Bismillah, Mufti, Jazakallah.
The Islamic finance and business landscape has witnessed fundamental growth, and there are a number of concepts that could be in an Islamic business and commercial funding arrangement. The first is a mudaraba, which essentially refers to an Islamic sweat partnership where the capital provider is the bank or a fund or a group of funders, and you have the sweat partner, which is the businessman or the entrepreneur. They both contribute the expertise and funding or monetary contribution for a joint venture. The risk is shared between the parties, and in the event of a potential loss under an Islamic sweat partnership, then the capital providers should only lose the capital, whereas the mudarib or the sweat partner only his or her management expertise. The mudarib is not liable to lose any funding or capital. This is the major difference between Islamic sweat equity partnership and other forms of conventional equity partnerships. Secondly, the concept of ijara, in which the asset is purchased by the bank or the funding institution and then leased to the client over a fixed term, and it could also be that at the end of the term, the bank sells the asset to the client for a bullet payment, or it then retracts the asset based on spot. There are various other concepts of Islamic commercial and business funding, and inshallah we shall continue with that topic next week, inshallah.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair, Mufti Ismail, for joining us once again. We're looking forward to chatting to you again next week, inshallah. Have a great day and a blessed week ahead, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was Mufti Ismail Desai, Islamic finance expert, talking about Sharia compliant business campaign. What is istisna and Islamic manufacturing contracts? Interesting one indeed.
From our headquarters in Johannesburg, South Africa, to the rest of Africa, this is CII Radio Live.